Thank you so much for coming. I'm Sydney Lima. This is Parental Guidance, where we get to the bottom of your creative career. Michelle de Swarte, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello. Woo! Greetings.
How are you?
Man, I'm appreciating the air conditioning. And there's a whisper of aircon, and I'll take it.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's lovely.
We both had a bit of a hot travel situation. I ended up getting off at Green Park and walking and thinking that my life was over with the heat.
Yeah.
What was it, the Victoria line?
Yeah, I live in Brixton, so I'm so spoiled by what I call the blue bullet. And it said we had to stop at Victoria for a whole 3 minutes, and I was like, this is outrageous. I'm going to get off the train. It's like, no, you're not. You're just going to sit here and fan yourself. But anyway, made it, and it's a pleasure to be here.
We were just having a mild dispute that Brixton wasn't in Zone 2. I didn't think it was in Zone 2, and Michelle said it was.
The way I was ready, I was like, how dare you? I did that typical man thing. I was like, let me just Google it now and show you. And it's not in Zone 3. As if he was like, no, Stockwell's in Zone 1. I said, exactly.
I know, but it feels so far away on the blue visual. But
anyway, don't piss me off, Sydney. Yes, we digress.
Michelle, I was lucky to see you playing the other day at the Afters at Hackney Empire. You were brilliant.
Thank you.
Got very trashed at your after party.
She did.
But no, I mean, you've had such a mad journey into comedy, and I kind of want to get back to where it all began. So tell me.
Well, I guess my start in life, as far as like creatively, has been pretty late. I'm 45 now. I didn't even think about writing anything. I started stand-up when I was 30. I didn't write anything until I was maybe 36, 37. And that was just under duress. Do you know what I mean? Like married and thinking, I'm going to box my husband in the face. And I couldn't do that much because I was in LA and I couldn't drive, and it's really hard. Oh, this is my story. Anyway, so, but I say all of this to say is that me, you know, what you sort of see now as success has been quite late in life and later than most. I left school without any GCSEs. I left school in year 9. As just a kind of, you know, pissed off, troubled teenager, and then became a model. After doing a bunch of like, you know, stupid, silly jobs and bartending and working in markets and this and that and whatever, and then I was living in New York, and then kind of just before I turned 30, I started panicking because I was like, what are you gonna do, like after modeling? Do you know what I mean? I was like, I've got no plans. And then I just kind of started to realise that I could try something creative if I wanted to. And actually, there's no reason why I couldn't. And I think my own self and how I felt about where I was from sort of was my own fortress in a way. Do you know what I mean?
What did you think you were going to do before you dropped out in year 9? Like, where did you see things going? Did you see yourself going into any kind of creative career?
No, nothing like that. My sole goal was just to not get pregnant. That was... Seriously, it was. I was just like, I just don't want to end up stuck. Like, that's how I thought about it then. Obviously, having a child is a gift. Not that I have kids, but you know what I mean? A gift for all the people that new life has been bestowed upon. But when I was younger, that was really my only goal. I didn't think I was smart. I came from a family that were like, you know, I was dyslexic, and everyone else was sort of like early readers and stuff like that. And everyone was quite open with the fact that they were like, you're a bit thick. And in some ways, now in today's world, that seems like horrific. But I don't know if I'm being a bit like, I'm just going about it. But I think sometimes it's good to think you're a bit shit, because it makes you kind of try, you know what I mean? It makes you kind of seek stuff out, and or for me it did anyway. I'm not advising that as a way to parent any children or anything like that, but yeah, so I didn't have any goals or real plans, just other than like, don't just try and not get pregnant, stay on the pill, and make sure you've got a job. That was it. Like, literally, that was it.
So how long were you modelling for then?
I modelled for about 12 years. Yeah.
I found some archival footage from Gucci the other day.
Did you? Of me falling on my batty crease? Yes.
I did. Do you remember that moment well?
Yeah, of course. Well, as if I'm going to forget falling on a Gucci runway. Yeah, I remember. Oh, what? No, I don't quite. Wow.
Just reminding you of it now.
Yeah. Twice as well. not just once, like multiple times. 3 times, actually. Yeah. Thanks, Sydney. Yeah, I remember.
Did you enjoy the fashion industry? Like, what was your experience
Nah,
of it?
I didn't love it.
No.
Yeah, it is a weird one. I mean, especially I don't know what it was like when you was doing it, but there's just enough creeps, and you know what I mean? You're just kind of, you know, it's a sort of, I don't know, it's a fucking creepy industry, man. It's a very creepy industry. I was quite fortunate in the terms of I started later than most models. I kind of started modeling at 19, I'd say, like professionally, and 20 I started making money, because 20 is when I moved to New York. But yeah, I was lucky in the sense of I'd done enough jobs, and as in like different jobs in the world, and was streetwise enough to know when like I was in the company of nonces.
I don't know if I had that. Actually, no, I definitely had some nonce run-ins.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Of course you did. But you know what you're doing? You're comparing it to something way worse.
Yeah.
Do you know, like I was taken to Jeffrey Epstein's house, and I'm like, oh, at least I didn't go on the plane. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I was like sent home from a Terry Richardson job because I called him a pervert, and I'm like, well, at least I didn't get fingered. Do you know what I mean? Like, isn't that? That's what you do. And to be honest, even now, I'm like, well, you know, my family says I was a bit thick, but I think it did me the world a good. Like, we're just, you know, like you're all clutching at straws, trying to like regulate our own traumatic experiences by looking at someone else who has it worse and being like, well, fucking, I guess I'm lucky.
But how did you find, like with fashion, I think, 'cause it used to pay very well, and when you come from like a working class background, how did you like adjust to that kind of sudden influx of money in your account?
I didn't. You know what's mad, yeah? I think when you come from like clicking the electric and shit like that, and like doing all kinds of madness, and you know, getting tick from the shop, and there is no difference between being able to go into a shop and get whatever sandwich you want, or walking into like Bloomingdale's and getting a designer bag. It's like all in the same wheelhouse when you're young, you know what I mean? You're like £10, £100, £1,000. You know what I mean? Like you just sort of like, if you've grown up with like not much money and then you get money, it's just, you're not, there's no regulating. I just seem like fake. I was just like, this is not real.
Yeah. I remember I used to like go out and stay up quite late, and then I'd like tell everyone in the room that I was going to take them to Paris. And then we'd actually get to the Eurostar, and then the cost of the train ticket was so high, and I was like, I've got to go through with it now. And
so you did it?
I took 3 people to Paris, and then we got there, we had no money, we were sitting under the Eiffel Tower. And we were like, better go home.
Do you know what? Let me tell you something, yeah? You see, if I bring 2 other people or 3 people to Paris and they're not happy with just sitting underneath the Eiffel Tower, do you know, even if it's pissing down with rain, I'm like, do you appreciate what is stopping the rain from hitting you right now? It's art and culture, it's the Eiffel Tower. I took you to another country. Yeah, I did madness like that as well. Like the amount of family members I like just flew here, there, and friends, and just like. And now, as I got older, I started to realise like the people that I used to think were my broke friends back then. Oh, as I've hit this age, my 40s, everyone's parents have started dying, unfortunately, and I'm like, oh, look at this big wad of money you've got. And I was out here back in the day with my little model money being like, oh, let me help you, don't worry. And now they're just like, oh, man, it's the inheritance tax. And I'm like, inheritance tax? What a scam. I've bought you loads of dinners and brunches and holidays and shit and drinks, endless drinks. Inheritance tax? Yeah, man. That's the scammage. As you get older, you start going like, oh, you lot are all going to be fine. No wonder you seemed a bit chill and calm about being broke. Because you knew this too shall pass.
So you never wanted to kind of take the fashion thing further? You never wanted to stay in the industry? How did it all kind of...
No, it just ends, innit? Gravity, innit?
Gravity.
Yeah.
It all comes down.
Yeah. And also, I didn't choose to. I mean, I've hiked it back up again. Do you know what I'm saying? But you don't. You know, I didn't choose to work in fashion. I think there's a lot of people that do choose, and they're super creative, and they're designers, and you know, there's all of these different kind of, you know, parts of the industry that, you know, we're just out there wearing the clothes, showing the final product. But there's so many different layers to the fashion industry, and you see so many creatives in it, and so many people work so hard to get their lines put out and their, you know, to do shows and all of that kind of stuff. And I didn't have any of that passion to be in the industry, and I didn't enjoy it in the industry. Do you know what I mean? I enjoyed making money and, you know, hanging out with my mates and doing drugs.
So when did you like... So when did you start writing? When did that kind of start turning into... Because you wrote a TV show called Spent.
I did.
And that was semi-autobiographical?
Yeah, it had like the pillars. But like it wasn't, you know, I didn't have anyone saying, oh, that's me, that character's me and stuff like that. But there was the pillars of it, I think, were from something honest and true. And I also knew that, you know, I know how to write comedy, so you can make things, you know, more laughable and funny. And, you know, I think my own personal experience was in many ways a lot more fucking tragic than a comedy show for the BBC.
To make the cut.
Yeah, well, you don't want it to be like that. You kind of want to, you know, it's like doing stand-up. Like I do stand-up, and I'm like, you try and talk about things because you want people, you want to give them some comic relief, and you also want it to be relatable, and you want people to sort of feel better about whatever thing that they think is dark, and only I feel like that. And you can go, listen, I do, and they're like, oh God, okay, thank gosh, you know. So you've kind of it wasn't a drama. It was a comedy. You know, it's a comedy drama, but still. So
did it come from a lot of your work through stand-up? Like,
yeah.
What was your early stand-up career like? What was the first time you stood up?
I mean, I started in New York, and it was kind of I was because I was in New York, I was around a bunch of artists and people that were there doing their art and stuff like that, and it just kind of gave me the confidence to try something new. Do you know what I mean? And to think like, no one gives a shit. Why don't I give it a go? I've always wanted to do it, so why don't I try? And so at first it was, I don't think I made any money in stand-up for maybe like the first 5 years. I definitely couldn't live off it until about 8 or 9 years in to doing stand-up. And actually until I moved back to the UK in 2019 is when I could live off it. But originally, when I started, I was just doing like dive bars and, you know, all the Brooklyn shitty bars and open mics and, you know, stuff like that.
Is the like doing stand-up in America, is that a weird audience as a British comedian to start with?
Well, it's the audience that I started with, so I didn't. If anything, I found it sort of a bigger adjustment to come back to the UK, and I've never lost my accent, and so I'd always sounded like someone who just never picked up an American accent, considering I moved there so young. And so when I came back here, culturally, there's so much of me that is, you know, very much this sort of New York built. And I came back and I was like, man, there's so many cultural things I don't understand here. Obviously, I was coming back and stuff, do you know what I mean? But actually, that was a harder adjustment because I started there. And just like the tonality of humour and comedy is different out there. Out here, we're a lot more like self-deprecating and, well, you know what I mean? If you kind of do that out there, they're a bit like, oh, God. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what does a New York audience bring out of you then that's different to a British audience?
I think they're sort of, in many ways, and I know as British people, like we pride ourselves on our sarcasm, but there's a bit more irony, I feel, specifically in New York. I mean, I feel like New York and London are very similar cities. Yeah. But yeah, and you can kind of talk yourself up and people understand that there's irony in what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? And like if you try and do that here sometimes, now, you know, with a bit more skill and a bit more experience, you can get these things across to your audience. But I think especially in the early days when I would come back here and do stand-up and sort of do that same kind of shit, they'll just be like, yeah, no, we fucking hate you. And I was like, oh my God, I don't understand why. I'm only joking. They're like, yeah, no, we're not getting that. We're getting that you are being serious about what you're saying. So those are just like little things. And obviously just words and, you know what I mean? Sometimes you've been saying a joke in one way because you've been in a different country and there's a different word for it here. You know what I mean?
So when did it kind of build up into wanting to write a TV show? Or was that not ever the end game?
It was never planned, to be honest. Everything now I can sort of make plans because I've got money again. I had money, I spent the money, I sniffed the money, I did stupid shit with the money. Then I was broke, got desperate, stand up, blah. And so me writing initially was just me being a little bit stuck and sort of thinking, okay, I'm just gonna write like one scene because I thought I want to make a short film. And I had like $2,000 in my account at the time because I'd done some weird documentary for weed maps in the States. I know, listen, man, sometimes you put shit out into the universe. I remember really thinking, I was smoking a lot of weed at the time. I was like, I wish I could just get paid to smoke weed. And I swear to God, Sydney, right? About 2 weeks after, I got a call being like, do you want to do this doc for weed maps? They'll give you like an ounce of weed. And you've got to go and do this festival. And then I went up to like up north in in North California somewhere to do this festival. And the girl that I was meant to be hosting with was like really territorial about how she wanted to interview all the rappers. And I was like, this is the dream. Do you know what I mean? And then like while she was having a bitch at me, a bird shit on her face. I was like, this is, and then the producers were like, we are so sorry. Like, you can stay at the festival, but basically, they were like, there's no work for you to do. And I was like, and then they gave me an ounce of weed. I was like, this is bad. Anyway, so I had this like little bit of money, but I was like couch surfing and I was really kind of like, what the fuck, man? And then I just sort of thought, okay, so like I'd written just like a scene between like me and my friends chatting about Notting Hill Carnival. And I just was like, I'll just make it small and I'll just make it under 5 minutes. And I thought I'm just gonna beg, still and borrow, ask enough favours. I came back to London and filmed it at my friend's house, had my friend in it, asked some guys that I'd done some docs with to do, like I just, when you don't know what you're doing, I managed to do this film for £1,000. Yeah. And like my sister did the catering, I like pulled all the catering like in a shopping trolley. I remember like getting people Ubers home at the end and my friend was like, sort of like gave my friends some weed. There's a lot of me paying people from weed back then. Listen, whatever.
The same weed?
No, it's a different country. Yeah, it was back in Stockwell, Zone 1. And I remember like everyone leaving and then just being like, I've got no fucking money. I had to put everything back in the shopping trolley and I like walked from Stockwell to my sister's in Vauxhall. Anyway, got the film made. I was really like, I think this film's shit, but I was like, I've got to get it made. I've just got to finish it because I was like,
what
really.
Was it called?
Vogue into Dancehall. It's still on my Instagram now. And that was just at a time where I had like such low confidence. I really thought everything I did was shit. And I just remember thinking like, you have to finish this project. You have to. You can't start it and then drift off into, no, you've got to finish it. And I finished it. I put it on Instagram. And much to like my shame, I was like, I've got to do a Kickstarter because, do you know what I mean? I was like, Beggy Mitchell, oh God.
Beggy Mitchell.
I was like, not a Kickstarter. But I wanted to make 2 more and I thought I've got proof of content.
Yeah.
And then off the back of that, literally maybe a couple months after I put that up, then Catherine Ryan was like, do you want to be in, she was like, oh, you act? And I was like, no, I don't act because I was in the film, but it's only because I didn't have any. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I'll just do it. And then she booked me to do her Netflix show.
The Duchess.
The Duchess, yeah. And so that was like my first real acting job. And then in between, I'd moved back to London by this point. I did another one-woman show in Edinburgh that no one came to. It's like my 4th one-woman show in Edinburgh. Do you know what I mean?
Well, how did you find out Edinburgh thing? Because it is quite dog-eat-dog in the sense that everyone's kind of competing. For those who don't know about the world, how would you describe it?
The Edinburgh Fringe is a month-long festival in Edinburgh, Scotland, where everyone goes and there's like, I think there's like over 10,000 shows. Or like, it's just fucking insane, man. You go there and you're just like, what? Also, to go there as a working class person, you just... The scammage of it. Now, I will say this, because we will need to be transparent about our privileges. Because of modelling, I knew a lot of people that lived in a lot of different cities.
Yeah.
And you met my friend Amy, right? My Scottish friend. She was
Yes.
at that party. Anyway, whatever. Her parents, she's from Money, right? And her parents lived in Edinburgh. So every time I'd go and do the festival, I'd be like, ha ha.
That is very good.
Can I stay in one of your bedrooms? And I'd hang out with all the other comedians. They'd be like, oh, it's terrible. My lodgings are terrible. And I'd be like, yes. So bad. I was like, suppers at 9, ta-da! But to be honest, that's the only thing that allowed me to go up and do it, because it is, you end up in debt, man. Like the accommodation is like crazy overpriced, and just being up there, you don't make any money. You're losing money to be up there. And so yeah, I'd even though I was living in New York, I would come back every few years and go and do these one-woman shows. Anyway, I digress. Yada, yada, yada. I do my last one-woman show there, 2019. Catherine Ryan messages me. I do that. In between that, I'm like, oh, well, that went well. So I started writing all these other just pilot ideas. And then off the back of putting that film up, one of the commissioners at the time from Channel 4 messaged me and was like, bless you, and was like, have you got any other... Like, do you want to develop this short film I do? And I was like, no, but I had a bunch of pilots ready to go. And the one that they picked was the one that was closest to my life, which was what ended up being Spent. Yeah.
How did you find the process of making it?
Boy. Do you know what's weird, I think, about doing something like that, especially like later in life, is people constantly ask you what your process is. They're just like, what's your process? And you're like, well, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but you want to say something.
What is your process?
Well, now I know my process is like, you need to give me the deadline. Whatever you think the deadline is, bring it forward. Yeah? Like, I was meant to hand something in on Friday because I'm working on a show now. Yeah. I was meant to hand it in.
Did you ignore it?
No, I gave myself the deadline. I was leaving on Wednesday and they were like, right, we got these notes back from the BBC. When I said, I'll get it in on Friday. And they went, Friday has come and gone. I messaged today before I came here and I was like, boy, it's probably looking like this Friday. And they were like, yeah, cool. They would have given me weeks or a month to do it. Do you know what I mean? But so now that's what I realised my process is. But is I just need everyone to lie and tell me it's due in tomorrow. But at that time, there was a lot of me sort of, people are, you know, and even like when you're in these industries, people are like, trust your instincts. But even instincts need practice, right? Like, you need practice to know what that feeling is, and you need to fuck it up and then be like, I fucking knew it. I knew it. Do you know what I mean? I knew that person was fucking lying to me, or I knew this person, or I knew that was the right person, but I let someone else talk me round because of their experience. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And years in the game, because it was a white old man, I was like, oh, I guess... maybe you know better, like, you know, but it takes a while to trust yourself. And also that just thing of like, you know, listen to your gut. You're like, well, the first time your gut goes, you don't know if like you ate something weird or like if that is your true body saying you're doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing. So it's a bit of trial and error. But my experience, all in all, I was so fearful about hitting my 40s and being broke that the way I was motivated, Sydney, I was motivated and focused. I was like, money I can make, let's go. Like, I really was. I was just like, I cannot believe I've like made money, been broke again, made money, been broke. How am I here again? I was like staying at my sister's for my 40th birthday in my niece's old single bed, and like my friend had got me a tarot card reading for my birthday. Which I did over fucking FaceTime, and I was just like, she was like, things are gonna work out, and I was like, I hope so, you know. I mean, I feel like, yeah, you know, you get desperate and you start thinking like, what's my star sign saying today? Do you know what I mean?
I've been looking into getting a tarot reading.
I've got a great person for you. I got a great person for you.
Yeah. Okay, great. Sorry, I just went off on one in my head.
Yeah.
So how have you kind of picked yourself back up from these moments where you've kind of lost things, or not lost things, but
no, I lost things. Yeah.
How have you picked yourself up from them?
Just like just that kind of one. I think coming from like a single parent family. Do you know what I mean? And just being brought up by single women that had kids early that were kind of pissed off about it. Do you know what I mean? And we're really transparent about the fact that, like, no one's coming to save you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this is it. Do you think anyone's coming to save you? And you're like, well, shit, no, really? Do you know what I mean? Like, you mean I'm not gonna... And I think just knowing that, like, that is... You know, I think you get to a point in life where you really cannot afford to second guess yourself anymore, because no one fucking cares.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's, even like now when I do a gig, like I've just finished touring now, so now I'm gonna have to go back and start writing new material again, and I'm just gonna be shit for a little while. And like, you know, you've come off that ego thing of like, yeah, fucking sold out, fucking, do you know what I mean, Hackney Empire, multiple days, yeah. And then you're like, well, I ain't got not one new joke yet. Yeah, but like, so, but then, you know, sometimes I'll go on stage, now you're trying out new stuff, and I'm like, that went terribly. But then I lie in bed and I'm like, no one cares more than me about me being rubbish. Like, no one fucking cares. Everyone cares about them. Everyone's the main character in their own show, which is their life. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you start not worrying about failing and not worrying about people seeing the process because you know where you're heading, then you can kind of stay on track. I think it's that sort of like the shame and the embarrassment and the envy and the jealousy and the scrolling and the, do you know what I mean? And the procrastinating. That's part of my process now, procrastinating. Because I know what I'm like. So I just know, like, what's my writing process? The house has got to be clean. First of all, I fuck it up. I just make it like filthy, you know what I mean? I'm not even putting the drawers back in anymore. I'm taking out a fork. I'm like, why push the drawer back in? Do you know what I mean? Like, I live like a tramp. Then I just make my tent, my bed is where I live now. And then eventually I'm like, you dirty bitch. Then I clean the whole house. And then I think you've just wasted like a couple of days doing nothing. And then I lie in bed and I'm like, it's like 2 a.m. and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready now. Do you know what I mean? So like, I know that's part of my process now, whereas before I would like really beat myself up about them days that I'd wasted. And now I'm like, this is it. This is part of your writing process.
That's quite good to be forgiving of that, because I think there's so much expectation to be constantly at it.
But this is what I mean. Like, so if you say like, how do I pick myself up again? It's more just like trying not to waste too much energy on the self-hate of it all. That is inevitable. You are going to open up Instagram and someone that you thought you kind of like but you don't really trust is going to be crushing it. It's going to piss you off, man. Then you're going to go down a fucking deep dive.
Yeah.
You start going to fucking Googling exes.
2 days later.
Yeah, exactly. 2 days later, a couple of bottles of wine. Do you know what I mean? You've raided your mum painkillers. And
One
you're like,
voodoo doll.
Yeah. You're like, what a fucking waste. I fucked up my life. And it's just like, if you can just get past all of that stuff, like, look, that might happen anyway, but just stay focused that, like, don't hate yourself too much about all of that. That's all part of, like, you know, just still get to where you're going. Like, you still need to get over there. Like, cool, you might get distracted and stuff, but yeah, so, like, and also, no, like, literally no one gives a fuck about you like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish I'd known that younger, because I feel like there's so many people who kind of can do that, can accept that quite early on, and I feel like that's very freeing. And I think when you're so weighed down by thinking about what other people think when they don't,
well,
it's just a delay tactic.
Yeah, and also I think if you're, especially like people that are from working class backgrounds, you're not always coming from a 2-parent family. There's going to be things that are missing from your, you know, developing years, whether it be like someone always being in the house or money, or do you know what I mean? There's gonna be things that are fucking missing. And so because of that, you're gonna go out into the world and you're gonna want it from other people. And if you don't have a good judge of character, which, you know what I mean? Like, I've got 2 parents that struggle with mental illness in different ways. So the things that should flag up to a normal person don't flag up to me. Do you know what I mean? So I have an array of questionable friends. Now, I've got some really good friends. I've got some banging friends, you know what I mean? Like, people that have really supported me. But I am attracted to, like, some people that are, like, maybe a little... So what I'm saying is, you know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that sometimes I can find myself sort of wanting approval from people that are just as flawed, if not more flawed than myself. And, you know... You sort of like, you kind of got to be careful when you want that outside validation, because it can really stall getting to the destination. Do you know what I'm saying?
Has Has that ever affected like your kind of work, the people you work with? Like, has that ever had a negative impact on the people your work situation?
What do you mean? Like being more specific?
Drawn to the wrong people, or like kind of not.
Not so much now anymore, because I'm a bit more contained and I've had loads of therapy. Do you know what I mean? I've partied my ass off. I've come out the other side. I'm just like whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like I know my shit a bit more. It's still there, but I'm a lot more aware of my own fucking stuff and my own baggage. So no, I managed to keep it a bit more contained.
Good.
Yeah, well, I should fucking think so, do you know what I mean?
Very nice.
Yeah, at this point in life, like, you know, you fucking hormoned up to fucking perimenopause. I'm like, if you ain't got it sorted by now, when the roller coaster's about to start, like, do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
So you've just come off tour. What's your, like, debriefing? What's your, like, do you allow yourself to have some, like, kind of respite? And then what is your writing process building it back up? Like how much pressure do you put on yourself to kind of get that next show built?
I like to have things lined up. That's just the thing about being self-employed, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like I like to have things lined up, and I like to be lined up with the disappointments as well. Those are all taken into account.
So you preempt your disappointments?
No, I'm not preempting it. I'm just planning that if, like, I'm writing a show at the moment. I'm developing 2 shows now. Neither of them, one's in its early embryonic stage, one's a little bit further down the line. Neither of these things have been greenlit. So I'm not planning. Everything that I plan is like, okay, so if this doesn't get commissioned, what other channels would I take it to? And if they don't take it, okay, then what else would I do? All right, so like the reason when Spent didn't get season 2, in my head I was like, right, if Spent doesn't get season 2, I'm going on tour. And so I'm lining up everything. So I need to start writing. As soon as I finished filming Spent, I was like, I need to come up with an hour's worth of material, because if it doesn't get season 2, I need to start selling tickets for the tour. Do you know what I mean? And so like now I know enough shit. Like this summer I can kind of take off and like have a break off fucking Instagram and all of that shit, because I'm writing. Yeah, I'm writing stuff, but I've also filmed my hour, and I know that will be coming out in September. And then I know I've got all these little shows and little fuckeries, things that you've done. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? To like keep the algorithm alive. You know what I mean? And keep everything. You got to, innit? You got to fucking. And then that'll take me up till about April. And then hopefully between now and April, I'll come up with some other shit. Yeah. So like, but no, you got to relax. Like now, I'm like, I mean, I've started June. I was just getting pissed, really. Hanging out with my mates, seeing my nephew, seeing like family members, trying to be a decent, you know what I mean? Like hang out and see people. And also just relax, because if you're a creative, when you try and you can't force imagination. You do need to let your brain relax a bit. You can't always fucking be like, what's, like, you can only, especially if you're neurodivergent and shit, you're always running on like, I need the deadline, because it's got to be urgent or I'm going to do fuck all. Also, do fuck all. For a little while, because then you'll come up with just relax. Yeah. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like I've just been running my mouth off. I'm like, just relax.
I will. No, that's very good advice, actually. I'm going to open this up, lads. Does anyone have any questions for the wonderful Michelle? Don't be scared. Yes, at the back. Do you want a mic? No. Can you project, please?
Hello, hi Rish.
All right, Shimmy.
I just want to say, like, I've known you since about 2013, and you fucking crafted to do that stand-up. And seeing where you are now is like, I'm so fucking proud of you. You've done amazing. But what I liked...
I was going to say, this don't feel like a question, but thank you.
Got over, like, the heebie-jeebies of, like, not thinking I'm shit, and I don't know how to do that. So what one bit of advice would you give someone?
I would say accept your shit. Do you know what I mean? No, because like I'm thinking I'm shit. If you could just surrender to that. Just be like, yeah, and what? Right. So I'm shit, so what? No, because otherwise, like, and this is why I'm saying, like, for me it might be different because I do stand up. So I'm constantly forced into situations. Even if I have the best gig tonight, tomorrow I might bomb. Like, there's gonna be times where I stand on stage and it doesn't go well. And any time that happens, and you have that little kind of, you know, oh, I thought I was the shit, now I'm not. I walk home and I think, at least I fucking tried.
You know what? But you went back and back and back from when I was in New York.
Yeah, and I would just be doing gigs and you'd be like, are you getting paid? And I'm like, no. Yeah. But it was like, for me, I knew that even if I thought I was shit, it was me knowing that I tried was better for me than thinking I'm shit and also not trying. Like, I'm gonna lie in bed and be like, I fucking hate myself anyway, I'm a fucking stupid bitch, I'm a piece of... But at least I'd lie in bed and go, well, you did try. You fucking stupid bitch, you should fucking be shit. You know what I mean? Like, so that's... But look, I'm not saying that's... But that's what I would say. If you can't get out of that headspace, then, like, don't, but, like, still do it. You know, like, when people go, oh, you know, like, if you're depressed and someone goes, you should wash. And you think, I don't want to. And then you're like, you wash your fanny and you're like, you know what? I did do that. And then you can just get back into bed and be depressed. But you're like, yeah, I did wash.
Wash your bits.
Yeah, wash your bits.
Wash your bits.
Thank you. Well done. So in that case, like, the self-belief that you have to be able to take on that many tipsies and send that in a good way, but like, you must have to take some belief to fight that off.
Yeah, I do, but it's probably just from, like, not wanting to. I think it is that, not to, just because I know the basis of this is about being from different classes, is I do think, like, it's a gift to be working class in a lot of ways, because there is nothing that's going to catch you. You know what I mean? It's like, I remember realizing, I used to think being dyslexic was such a burden. And then I realized, like, I was like, I just have, like, a natural ability to, like, think in pictures and to paint. I can't spell for shit, but you know what I mean? Like, I can sort of, like, there's certain journeys I can remember, and I was like, oh, this is like the gift of dyslexia, you know what I mean? And I think as well, like, that gift of knowing that there's nothing, like, you have to look after yourself. It's brutal, but it is also, like, you can't really, literally, you cannot afford to be like, oh, well, it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to move into a hostel? Do you think that, like, where would you be on the housing list? You don't have any kids and you can walk. Like, you're not going to get housed anytime soon. It's not going to be in London. I don't want to live in Croydon. Like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? So you start weighing up all of these things. And you're just kind of like, I fucking may as well just do it. Like, you know, so that's, for me, it's not like, I definitely struggled with mental health, and I've had breakdowns and all of that kind of stuff. And I've made some really bad choices in my life, but I've also been like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to go and do it again then. You know, we're gonna have to pivot.
Resilient.
Yes.
Thank you.
Simply popular by your mental health was bringing you joy.
Oh, you know what? I tell you what, no, do you know what brings me joy? Is, like, I've just been able to buy a place, and I did not realize how much of a difference that has made to my nervous system and my day-to-day regulation. Like, I've moved my whole life, and I've never been... Listen, sometimes I just come home and I'm like, wow, just rub the wall, or I just, like, look at the toilet and I'm like, that's... I mean, I owe the house, but I don't own a house. I owe the house. But you know what I mean? And, like, so at the moment, like, to buy a place in the area that I grew up in, is what brings me joy. And just to be able to, like, have people come and stay at my place, and just to, like, wake up and, like, no one can tell me to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's properly nice. So, like, that's what brings me joy. And also, BBC Archives have started popping out all these, like, new these old documentaries on YouTube from, like, the 60s and the 70s. We were just chatting about it. And it's, like, really mindless shit, as in, like, but it's not mindless, they're great. It's like Man Alive documentaries. And I've just been loving, because I've taken Instagram off my phone. I've really been enjoying watching these old documentaries about England.
I watched one of the BBC ones last night about, like, the local prostitute.
Oh, is it?
Did you see that one?
No, but I keep on looking at that and I'm like, oh, I saved that for later. That looks like a goodie. Tracy.
It's good.
Tracy the prostitute.
Tracy the local hooker.
I know, yeah.
Any more questions? Okay.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
I've got one more question.
Oh, shit, go on.
Shit. You mentioned briefly your weed doc, that you're, like, as a side hustle job, the weed doc. Is there any other kind of things that you've taken on whilst in that position of like not having like a main income?
Are you do you know how many mad fucking things I've done? Like in between modelling and now. Like crazy nonsense. Like I was a nanny, I don't like kids. Like, do you know what I mean? A cleaner. Like I was a fucking PA at one point for a vegan chef and I cannot cook. Like like I've done some fucking stupid shit. I was working at a burlesque club, like the front of house in a burlesque club. I've just done it. You know, you get to a point and you're just like, yeah, I need money.
Yeah.
What am I gonna, do you know what I mean? I'm not ready to, you know, Viva Tracy, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what am I gonna, like, yeah. But like, you know, like, what am I gonna do? So yeah, I've done everything in between and not like for long stints, do you know what I mean? Because, you know, I'm still a, you know, I've got an ego and, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you're born with the privilege of beauty and you're like, oh God, can't believe I'm cleaning toilets. This is not my destiny. But it's like, if you got money and you're like, boy, give me that bathroom duck and let me, you know what I mean? So yeah, I've had to do a bunch of shit in between and really resented every fucking second of it.
Part of the creative process.
I mean, do you know what? I remember my friend telling me once, I was like going out, getting weird shit for this fucking vegan chef. He was such a cunt. And I called up my friend and I was like, I've just been sent out to get like 200 wonton wrappers. I don't even know what they are. And she was like, you know what, Michelle, one day this will be material. And I literally was like, I just need you to fucking listen. So my life is a mess. And she was like, this is going to be really funny one day. And the same in Spent, I worked for one woman who was like, well, to have me walk her dogs. And she was like, I want you to take pictures of the dog shit to send to me. And that's what I put in Spent. Yeah, because she would be like, what? I need to make sure that they've had good bowel movements. And I'll just
Fuck off.
So I'd walk around the parks banking good shit. On my phone, I'll just be like, that looks like a decent, let me just get that in the roll. So I can bank it. Do you know what I mean? But while that was happening, I remember, again, my mate was like, this is going to be great in something. And I was like, I'm going to deck you in the fucking face.
Dare I ask, did it make a stand-up show?
No, but it ends up being in a TV show. I don't know if it really made much sense, but I just needed to get it in there to justify, you know what I mean? At one point being paid to take pictures of dog shit. You know.
On that note, everybody, thank you so much for coming out on this hot day. And thank you so much to the wonderful Michelle de Swarte.